All right, y'all, we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business today. See if we see that it has BSS, aka boudoir search sameness, with these two Google searches here. So we're back here in the GBC universe, taking decline in boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More about that, pin video, whatever, home video, somewhere around here. This is because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So over on the left here, we got the highest intent peeps, in the white here. The highest intent peeps. These are the Google searchers, the social searchers. They're searching for a boudoir photo shoot in their city. So when they're doing that in their city, that's closest to the money, fastest conversions, and that's what we want. Over on the right, we got the lowest intent peeps, which people who are not searching for boudoir photography right now, or boudoir photo shoot in their city right now, and most of the time have no idea what the heck boudoir even is. And we deal with that with our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, where we talk about BLCS. But over here, we talk about BSS, and all right, so let's see what that is. All right, so BSS is boudoir search sameness. This is when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 is terrible, that means we're on page 2 or deeper, and we already know approximately 80% of all Google searches never even hit page 2. So page 1 only searches, and as a result, if we're on page 2, we're invisible and our business will be failing pretty fast. Also, if we only got 1 slot on page 1, there's 10 organic slots on page 1. If we got 1 of them, guess what? We're being compared. A buyer, they're just going to click through everyone. Since we all look the same, we all got 1 link. A buyer simply going to be clicking through everyone on page 1, and approximately 80% chance they never even go to page 2. And so their filling everyone's contact form and price shopping everyone, negotiating, getting the best deal possible for themselves, and it's really a race to the bottom at that point. So we do not, boudoir search is bad. And 0 or 1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It's accepted, it's common, but it's not normal. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are 1, market saturation, which basically everyone knows about. People get new gear, new iPhone, new camera, and they're throwing up their Google Maps profile saying they're shoot boudoir. They're shooting, throw up their websites saying they shoot boudoir, and also, posting in the mom groups saying they shoot boudoir. So market saturation, more sellers for the same number of buyers makes it harder for every single seller. That's the basis of it. Now, the second one, which basically nobody knows about, is the false belief of page 1 equality. So page 1 equality was something that's kind of always been accepted, kind of automatically without people think about it. It's, just assume and accepting, every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And as a result, maybe I was on page 1, and someone else came and ranked above. Okay, it pushed me down to page 2, but that's what happens. That's the game, and I gotta hope they delete their website and Google stops indexing them so hopefully Google picks me to go back on page 1. Nope, 100% incorrect. It's a false belief, because what I've learned is that Google will actually give as many page 1 slots to the business that wants them and puts in the work to acquire them, puts in the effort to acquire them. And I know that because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google to 9 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google in only 10 days, because I wanted them. So I wanted those slots, so put in the effort to take those slots. So now we actually have a case study showing that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. Next, we know that boudoir photographer with BSS, boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. So, if we're on page, if we're got 0 slots on page 1, obviously we're disappearing because we're on page 2 or deeper, and approximately 80% of the market will never even see us. And if we got 1 slot on page 1, we're essentially invisible, being price shopped to death. Just really spinning our wheels, wasting our time, so disappearing as well. And It's kind of the canary in the coal mine, the warning light, warning light on our dashboard, check engine light saying, "Hey, you're disappearing," and that means the boudoir photography business is also on a path to disappearing. So this is, that's why we like, the local search and the city search, so we can see kind of what path is our boudoir photography business on. But now, thankfully, finally, thank the universe, we now have a solution. We have figured out that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S cubed methodology. And it works exactly as the name says. We saturate social search, search on social media sites with the highest intent keywords, and we show up there, take as many slots as possible, and that's this kind of like it's like the backside of the Andes down in South America, where the snow is melting, goes into small streams, small rivers, and eventually it all collects into the large Amazon River. The Amazon River is page one on Google, so we basically got to seed our Amazon River way at the top of the Andes with our social search saturation. And this is the only solution for boudoir photographers that I've seen that can actually successfully still enable a business to grow, have the possibility of growing in the face of more and more and more market saturation in a relatively quick time frame. The only other second option that exists is brand, building a massive known brand. But dude, that takes 5 to 10 years. We ain't got 5 to 10 years. AI's here taking people's jobs, forcing more people to become boudoir photographers because everyone's got a camera or a smartphone with awesome cameras, and people still need to earn money even though AI is taking their jobs. So we ain't got 5 to 10 years to make a brand. So SQ methodology kind of allows us to shortcut that a little bit. Well, at least by getting, on page one of Google. And by my estimates, it actually enables a brand to actually grow a brand at, my estimate is 8x as fast. Kind of 8x speeded up. That's an estimate though, just because it'll be on so many surfaces, just for passive, content, kind of consumption on social media, but we'll be dominated on surfaces for social search and Google search. So my estimate is it'll speed up brand building 8x. And imagine got a well-known brand and you're still executing SQ methodology to make sure nobody in your city can ever touch you. I mean, it's ultra powerful. Now, here's an example of SQ methodology kind of enabling a business to still grow in the face of massive competition. Imagine we got a million boudoir photographers in Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado, aka Denver. And we're one of them. We got, everyone's got their websites and they do boudoir photo shoots. Everyone's trying to rank page one on Google. And we're like, all right, to compete here, the only solution we got here is S cubed methodology. So we crank that up to the max. And let's say we saturate the first, 300 slots on page one of Google, or no, first 300 slots for the highest intent keywords across all social search. So now everyone, any time a boudoir buyer searching those high intent keywords on social search, we pop up. Then that flows onto Google, and let's say we got the first 300 slots on Google. There's 10 organic slots per page, so we're taking up the first 30 pages on Google. And basically, none of our competitors are being seen until, someone scrolls down to the 301st position, or goes to page 31 on Google organic search. Then, if we're basically the only one peeps can find, they keep seeing us, they keep seeing us, they keep seeing us. Then it's basically inevitable. We're going to be the only ones growing, and all the other boudoir photographers are going to be shrinking, disappearing, going out of business, going invisible. So, yeah, SQ methodology is the only solution I've seen that allows boudoir photographers to, gives them a chance to continue to grow in the face of massive market saturation. Now, once treated with SQ methodology, we have page one visibility and kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. So it's kind of a second initial benefit. First initial benefit, obviously, we get more slots page one on Google. Second initial benefit is we're actually kicking our competitors off of Google in our city and making them essentially invisible, becoming disappear, and making their business eventually disappear. Because we know approximately 80% of Google searches never hit page two. They're page one only searches. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So for this, the GBC universe recommends a minimum of 3 out of 10 page one slots on Google. That's because if everyone else got one slot, we got three, we're dominating them. And the off chance, the super rare chance someone has two, which is ultra rare, we're still dominating them. So we're basically dominating everyone in all scenarios. And a boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got our micro universe here, a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness. It's caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Thankfully, yes, I think the universe, we do finally have a solution, S cubed methodology, that we achieve page one visibility and become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. All right, so now onto my results using S cubed methodology. I wanted to dominate the keyword for BLCS boudoir, and I exclusively used S cubed methodology to get these current results. So we did this for organic search, obviously. It's for ranking in organic search. Let's go to the organic slots. So we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google in only 10 days, purely using S cubed methodology. So now we're going to look at this boudoir photography business. Going to check. So all this is based on the Google page 1 searches here. So we got these 2 Google searches. Let's check these out. So first one, we got boudoir photographer. Is that the first one? No, I think. Oh no, St. Augustine should be the first one. I got to do St. Augustine here. Boudoir photography, St. Augustine. St. Augustine. And there we go. All right, so let's see what we got here. Look for a supernova. There we go. So we got they got one slot. And all right, we got 2 slots here. Wedding wire. Yeah. We do not have BSS, so we got 2 slots here. That's fine. That's good. We perfect. Now we've not hit the GBC minimum. We want to have 3 out of 10 here, but hey, we do not have BSS for the search, so that's good. Now we want to hit the GBC 3 out of 10 minimum because that's kind of the only safe time we can say, hey, we're not going to disappear, we're not going to decline. We may not grow, but we'll probably at least tread water. So no BSS, but we're not hitting the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 here. Let's check our Jacksonville, Florida. All right, so still looking for the same supernova. So we got 1. And nope. All right, none of these are specifically about us only. We got 1 out of 10. So we got BSS for the second search at Jacksonville, Florida. Bigger city. So BSS is more common in the bigger cities, obviously, more keyword competition. So we do not have BSS for St. Augustine, Florida. That's good, but we did not meet the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10. But we do have BSS for the Jacksonville, Florida search, and we also did not hit the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10. So if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've got BSS, you did your local search and your city search, and you saw, you only got either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google, and or you have not hit the GBC minimum, recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots on page 1. And you understand the page 1 equality belief, and now you're like, oh yeah, obviously that's false, when we didn't really even think about it before, because now we see how I got 9 out of 10 on page 1 on Google organic search results. And you understand the market saturation. Yeah, new iPhones, new boudoir photographers, new camera, new boudoir photographers. But you're also seeing AI take more and more people's jobs, and you're like, okay, like COVID brought in a flood of boudoir photographers. AI is taking more people's jobs, probably going to bring in a flood of boudoir photographers as well. So you want to prepare for the influx of supply of sellers by kind of fortifying your page one Google presence. So essentially never allow those people joining to show up page one on Google. And you see SQ's methodology, and you're like, yes, finally, I've been waiting for something like this. So you know you want to use SQ's methodology to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, achieve boudoir search visibility. And also you want the back-end bonuses of using SQ's methodology as well, which we haven't talked about yet, we'll talk about now, which is we're basically building thematic keyword columns via social and on Google that are kind of columns plugged into our brand, our basically the name of our business, our social handles. And those thematic keyword columns, guess what? They increase the probability we show up here in the AI overview. They increase the probability we show up in AI search like ChatGPT search, Claude search, Perplexity search, Microsoft Copilot search, Google Gemini search. Increase in the probability there. And last time I did ChatGPT search for boudoir photographers in the city, recommended me, it only gave me 3. And AI search is increasing every single day, more and more people use an AI search every single day. Still, Google is about 90% search volume, but we're kind of pre-positioning ourselves AI search, which SQ methodology helps with. And kind of once we build this kind of back-end invisible momentum, these thematic keyword columns that plug into all these, basically prevent people ranking on page one against us and build up keep building up and increase our probability of showing up across all these AI searches. And you decide you want to be a first mover because this has got to get done. Start building up this momentum because again, ads momentum goes to 0 when you stop spending. This momentum will continue ongoing. Basically, these have momentum, not infinite momentum, but you decide you want to start the momentum, then keep growing the momentum, actually dominate page one. And you also see that the further you put yourself ahead of the competition now, when AI starts basically kind of forcing people to become boudoir photographers, you'll be well positioned to be unaffected by it because you've already built up page one domination, which is like, dude, that's like seven out of 10 slots or more. Page one Google, 8 out of 10 slots or more. And being recommended AI search, putting distance between you and everyone else. And you want to basically guarantee that you put so much distance, nobody can catch up. Instead of a competitor working with me, where plan right now is to only work with one person per city. Instead of a competitor getting all these kind of momentum bonuses and page one slots where then you would have to actually, if I were to continue work with them, you would have to rederive the S-cubed methodology on your own, figure out how to actually get it to work. And then you will never actually know if you're doing it correctly, how we've done it. And then you'd have to equal our output to maintain the distance kind of behind your competitor that I could be working with. And you'd have to kind of double our output to actually make up that lost ground and build back up the momentum and take it from us. So you've decided, well, it's better to simply become the first mover here. So we get all the benefits, none of the drawbacks. So if you want all these benefits, shoot me a DM when I open for new patient intake. I'm not currently open for new patient intake, so even if you want to work with me, you cannot. But when I do open up the hospital for new patient intake, shoot me a DM and we will see if you qualify.